Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Faith as It Is podcast. And I'm Phillips. If you're new here, may I request you to consider hitting that subscribe button and please do stick with us till the end. So, in this episode, let us try to understand who this Santa Claus is. So, this Santa Claus, is he a funny guy? Is he a made up dude? Is he just a legend? Or is there a real person behind it? Most of you probably could know the story, but for those who do not, please do stay with me till the end. And this is going to be a really, really short episode. But before that, I do have a little bit of introduction to give you, which obviously you guys didn't ask for. So, this episode is mostly going to be published on December 2nd, that is today, Friday, and tomorrow, December 3rd, is Saturday, the Feast of St. Francis Xavier. And guess what? Faith as It is completing its second anniversary. Yeah, actually, we planned a really cool episode, to be published on December 3rd. But due to some unforeseen circumstances, we were not able to go ahead with it. But, we are definitely coming up with it. But it's just been postponed. And then the next week, we have the Feast of the Immaculate Conception coming up. And, we do also have a very special episode, of course, from our apologist Athena coming up the next week. And most probably, the upcoming week, we'll have the episode where the whole Team Y will get together and, introduce ourselves again to all of you new guys. And yeah, it's been a wonderful ride this year. But yeah, I know that you guys didn't ask for all these intro now. But then, before we begin, I felt like you need to know what's happening. So that's it, and now without further ado, let's know who this Nicholas is. So our man St. Nicholas, who became popular in the history as Santa Claus, was not just a legend. He was the bishop of a place called Myra in 300 AD. You pronounce it Myra, you pronounce it Mira, or whatever it is, but he was the bishop of Myra in the year 300 AD. Our man St. Nicholas was born into a wealthy family and was the only child. Nevertheless, he didn't go after the riches, he didn't go after the world, but he instead became a priest after Christ and was appointed the Bishop of Myra. Very soon his parents passed away, unfortunately, leaving him the heir of all their wealth. Those days people were like excessively wealthy, it's not just abundance, it's excessive abundance. So Nicholas didn't know what to do with all that. Very secretively, Nicholas used his wealth to help the needy, the downtrodden, the children, often donating large sums of money without disclosing his identity even to the families he was helping. And he was exactly doing what Jesus commanded us in the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 6, verse 3. Let me paraphrase that verse for you, that you shouldn't let your left hand know what your right hand is doing, especially when you give alms, when you're being charitable, when you do donations. But sadly, these days, it has become a more of publicity kind of thing. But then, yeah, that's not a concern for now. Let's get on with what St. Nicholas was doing. But then, as he was doing this kind of anonymous help, anonymous charity, he was ultimately caught up trying to help the needy. But after his death, legends spun around this story, and he became the great Santa Claus. But then, this is not the only story to be told about St. Nicholas, because Nicholas is more than just Santa Claus. He was not just a good priest, but he was a big-time apologist and a prominent bishop at the Council of Nicaea in the year 325 AD. So what happened in the year 325 AD? This bishop called Arius came up with this heresy called Arianism, which said Jesus was not pre-existent with the Father, rather Jesus was created God. And this obviously sounds ridiculous, but then let me tell you, this heresy is not dead yet. Yes, you heard me right. There are a lot of Protestant sects. For instance, to name one, we have Jehovah's Witness, and they also almost are so similar to this. They say that Jesus is not God, but even if they claim that Jesus is God, they say that Jesus was created later by God the Father, which obviously isn't true. But then I'm just, for you guys to be aware. So, in order to refute this heresy, in 325, the first ever ecumenical council in the Catholic Church was held. And in 325, a bishop, Arius, caused a lot of hullabaloo here and there. And therefore, an ecumenical council was called. And it was here that our Nicholas got so furious and he slapped Arius. He was furious, he slapped Arius. That's the end of the story. Nicholas was stripped of his bishop's garments for this act, and obviously he was reinstated in a couple of months or days probably, but then he was back to his former position, he was back to his episcopate. But nevertheless, 1700 years later, we still celebrate his slap with a lot of memes. And I still remember that every Christmas season, there will be a lot of memes on this Arius getting slapped by St. Nicholas. And that is how it is. Well, if it is right for him to slap, if it is wrong for him, that is not a question, that is not a concern. Because, human as he is, it was at that moment, it was a spontaneous act, probably, it was an involuntary act. But then who knows who are we to judge it? But then, in contemporary media, this slap is known as the slap that saved Christianity. So that's it, my friends, the story of St. Nicholas, the Santa Claus, a bishop who was exceedingly good to the needy, and yet who was not afraid to stand up for what he believed to be the truth. I just have one concluding question for you guys, and I need your answers in the comments. Please do consider commenting. So what do you, or what emoji comes to your face the very moment you think about the cheerful, pompous Santa Claus slapping Bishop Arius on his face? I don't know, but then it is what it is. So that's it, friends, and let us conclude this episode by saying an Our Father, because, after all, it is His providence that we're all alive here, keeping well, and listening to this. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And do not let us fall into temptation, but deliver us from evil. Amen. Alright, friends, thank you for watching and sticking with me till the end. Please do consider subscribing and sharing. And please don't forget to check back the next week and the upcoming week, because we have a lot of back-to-back episodes coming as well. So until we meet next time, bye-bye.